I had this friend one time who swore to me that if you put Cheese Whiz on an Oreo, it tastes just like cheesecake. And I thought, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And then he forced me to try it at a party, and I realized, wow, that actually does taste exactly like cheesecake. That's kind of what bad movies are. Something that shouldn't be good, but for some reason, it's amazing. That's what this video is about. A movie that is terrible in the greatest way. This is Bad Movie Review. For this installment, we're going to look at quite possibly the best bad movie ever made, Hard Ticket to Hawaii. Be prepared, we are going to spoil the shit out of this, so if you don't want that, go watch the movie and come back, I guess? I don't know. Cool, let's get into it. Hard Ticket to Hawaii opens up with the bad movie go-to, establishing shots and boobs. Turns out things aren't as peaceful as those boobs would have you believe, as some local Molokai cops stumble upon a drug ring and are killed by what clearly are the best of the best a classy organization has to offer. You can tell by that nose hair. Them's power nostrils right there. We then meet Donna, a drug enforcement agent or something, and Taryn, a woman who testified against the mob in Vegas, which resulted in her being placed in witness protection in Hawaii with Donna as cargo plane operators. A backstory that is delivered via boobs. They had to pick up some tourists and cargo after absolutely fucking up their own lawn for some reason. A snake is loaded onto their plane that is bound for a wildlife sanctuary, proving that Samuel L. Jackson was not the first to have to deal with this particular scenario. After more establishing shots set to the first of two theme songs, they drop the tourists off and start to head back to their plane when a mini helicopter carrying stolen diamonds is dropped right in front of them by Chang, a man who is probably wanted by both the real police and the fashion police. Shockingly, his plan to use the tiny helicopter to smuggle diamonds goes astray. After being shot at with what can only be described as stormtrooper precision by the cartel's best, the girls grab one of the two boxes of diamonds and run. Meanwhile, the cargo dispatch is desperately trying to get a hold of them because, for some reason, there were two snakes that were delivered in identical boxes, and they grabbed the wrong one. By wrong one, I mean it has been contaminated with radioactive waste that causes cancer. You know, that old trope, the radioactive cancer snake. You've seen it 1,000 times. We're then introduced to Edie, owner of Edie's, where people Edie. Yeah, it's a good joke. She, for some reason, employs a greeter who is trying to challenge for the world record in sexual harassment. Also at the restaurant is Seth Romero, the criminal for whom the diamonds were meant to be delivered. He's told about the mishap by the Wonder Twins and is not happy. Back at the house, the director realized it's been a full 10 minutes without boobs, and that shit cannot stand. So we see Donna and Taryn realize the box they stole has diamonds while topless in a jacuzzi. For those paying attention, this is the second conversation they have had that didn't involve a man. So surprisingly, this movie actually passes the Bechdel test. Meanwhile, agents Rowdy and Jade are doing what they think is karate when they are given a hot tip about the Molokai cops' murder via sandwich. Then they burn that shit. Seth Romero sends two thugs in pantyhose masks to steal the diamonds back from T&D, which they do, but only after they get their asses kicked, release the radioactive cancer snake, and Seth gets shot in the face. In the face! No! Dispatch finally gets a hold of D&T and gives them the bad news about the radioactive cancer snake, and they give him the bad news that shit's gone. We're then introduced to J.J. Jackson, Triple J if you're nasty, a sports broadcaster in town to cover some kind of football thing. Triple J then gives a way too detailed and mostly incorrect description of what basic vitamins do to some football players who stare at him like you would a 5-year-old that's explaining what they learned today. Oh, and Triple J's apparently hooking up with Taryn because they need a reason for him to be involved in the movie. So DT and Edie have a conference call with Rowdy and Jade about the diamonds and plan to rendezvous, but the phone is being monitored by the cross-dressing bartender who's working for Seth Romero. We find this out later via boobs. After a tasteful sex scene between Triple J and Taryn that will make you wonder if they actually know how sex works, Rusty and Jade land on the island and jeep their way over to the rendezvous, only to be headed off by a handstanding skateboard assassin who shoots Jade with a shotgun while he's driving by hiding it behind a blow-up doll. You know, because the handstanding skateboard assassin needed a distraction. Jade shrugs that off like a stubbed toe, rams the Jeep into the skateboard Van Damme, flipping him into the air, and Rusty blows him up with a rocket launcher. Gee, I hope they got him. Meanwhile, the tourists from earlier are inventing Instagram when, out of nowhere, radioactive cancer snake. Jade gets patched up at the hospital in a few minutes after being full-on Bon Jovi'd and shot through the fucking heart. Then the director realizes we haven't seen Edie's boobs yet, so he remedies that, and then she's kidnapped by Romero's thugs after a tip from the bartender. D&T do some recon and realize that Edie has been kidnapped, and time is of the essence. By time is of the essence, I mean they hang out with sumo wrestlers, find out that the radioactive cancer snake has annihilated the tourists, and meet with Rowdy and Jade where Donna hooks up with Rowdy, all while their friend is being tortured. They know their friend is being tortured the entire time. The next morning they decide it's time to actually do something about that, so Rowdy kills Power Nostrils with a razor blade frisbee and celebrates with a fist pump. You should be proud, you did it, Rowdy. Taryn, Jade, and Rowdy jeep into the danger zone while Donna comes in on a hang glider jet thingy or something and lays down some grenades, completely eliminating the element of surprise. Bad karate and a bunch of rocket launching happens, and then they free Edie. Donna goes home, and everyone else is bragging about all the death and destruction they've wrought in the A-Team van when they suddenly realize that Seth probably escaped. Rowdy, without hesitation, blasts out of the van on a motorbike. Seth attacks Donna at her home and gets his ass handed to him several times. First taking a harpoon through the shoulder, coming back to life, getting stabbed in the stomach, coming back to life, and just when he thinks the third resurrection may be the charm, boom! Radioactive cancer snake explodes out of the toilet. Seth tries to take it out with a knife, and the cancer snake bites him and gives him radioactive cancer or something like that. He's dead. Then Donna tries to shoot it, but that doesn't work very well, so Rowdy blasts through the wall on his bike and then blows it up with the rocket launcher. That is how you solve problems. There's an epilogue thing where they take down Chang and keep the stolen diamonds, but this is where the movie should end. This is where all movies should end. Like, this is the new point of no return for movies and shows. I mean, I know jumping the shark is faster to say, but I mean, Fonzie never rocket launched a cancer snake. In summary, you need to see this movie. Go. Do it now. It has Hawaii, boobs, rocket launchers, a handstanding skateboard assassin, boobs, a radioactive cancer snake, cross-dressing bartenders, sumo wrestlers, boobs, spy sandwiches, exploding helicopters, the A-Team van, motorbikes exploding from the A-Team van, motorbikes exploding through walls, boobs, a razor-bladed frisbee disc of death, power nostrils, and so much more. This right here is peak cinema. Hey, if you like this video, go ahead and click that subscribe button, maybe sign up for notifications. I don't know, you can do whatever you want, but it's free, so why not? And you can get notified whenever there's new content.